of this clowning your opponent so much. Every now and then it's you need to do it to get in their head, but Floyd seems to just do it even when it's not necessary sometimes. When
hold me back. Don't you fucking stop.
It's almost certain that Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez will clash later this year. The super welterweight champion has already turned to Floyd Mayweather for advice ahead of the bout, but it appears their collaboration is just getting started.
where it goes all the way down. Beautifully done. Ooh, there's a nice counter, and now Floyd's clowning him again. You know, I'm not a fan of this.
Crawford has been training intensely ahead of the upcoming showdown, with Floyd Mayweather playing an active role in his camp. Mayweather is working closely with him to sharpen essential elements of his game, aiming to secure a win on fight night, and possibly deliver Canelo Álvarez his third career defeat. Their sessions focus on high-level shadowboxing, defense, footwork, punching precision, counter-punching strategies, and adaptability in the ring. Known for being ambidextrous, Crawford is widely regarded as one of the most intelligent and technically gifted boxers of his era.
Dominating. Okay, so Floyd is very defensive now. He's letting his opponent get off. He's just making him miss. I mean, this is getting in his head enough, doing it this way. He doesn't, I don't know.
Terence Crawford is undoubtedly eager to keep Floyd Mayweather in his corner as he looks to tip the scales in his favor come fight night. Talks of a potential showdown between Crawford and Canelo Álvarez have been circulating for months. After securing a dominant knockout win over Errol Spence Jr. in the summer of 2023, Crawford, then the undisputed welterweight champion, called out Canelo to make the fight happen, but it would need to jump up 3 weight divisions. At the time, Canelo, reigning as super middleweight champion, dismissed the challenge. Instead of taking on Crawford or fellow contender David Benavidez, Canelo went on to claim victories over Jamie Munguia and Edgar Berlanga. Meanwhile, Crawford continued to rise through the ranks, capturing the WBA and WBO interim titles with a decision win over Israel Madov in August. In recent months, speculation about a Crawford vs Canelo super fight has reignited. Saudi boxing chairman Turki Alalshik has reportedly met with both fighters, and now, it seems the stars have finally aligned for what could be one of the...
that's what everybody want to see. The only way they can be answered is if me and Canelo is in the ring and we fight.
We'll see, we want to talk about it, sit down.
According to an exclusive report by The Ring magazine, the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford is officially set for September in Las Vegas, though neither fighter has publicly confirmed the bout just yet. While the matchup is reportedly finalized, several key details remain under wraps. Las Vegas has been locked in as the host city, but the exact venue and date have yet to be officially announced. The event will be promoted under Turki Alalshik's Riyadh season banner and is expected to be broadcast via pay-per-view. Sources suggest that a deal is in place for the fight to take place on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium. Meanwhile, David...
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that, no disrespect to him, but
Many believe that Canelo Álvarez's size could be a major obstacle for Terence, but Crawford, who would need to move up 2 full weight classes to take on the unified super middleweight champion. Crawford, a Nebraska native who began his professional career at lightweight, is expected to face a notable size disadvantage in the ring. Still, David Benavidez isn't ready to count him out. In an interview with Ariel Helwani, the Mexican monster acknowledged that Crawford's time to bulk up, combined with his exceptional boxing IQ, could make the fight more competitive than many expect. It's a good fight, Benavidez said. I think it's a good fight for both of them.
It's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big.
If anyone can beat Canelo, I think Crawford could, said David Benavidez. While acknowledging that size could be a major factor in the fight, Benavidez believes Crawford has a legitimate shot. I do think the size could make a big difference, but it's still a great fight. I don't want to come off as a hater. I'm actually happy for Crawford that he's landed such a big opportunity. I'd give him a 7 out of 10 chance of winning. Benavidez also emphasized Crawford's long-term preparation and ring intelligence as potential game changers. Crawford is smart. He's probably known for a while that a fight with Canelo was coming, so I'm sure he's been building toward that. When you've got a high boxing IQ like Crawford, you can make your opponent uncomfortable.
Which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no makes.
While many believe Canelo Álvarez isn't particularly eager to face David Benavidez, the Los Angeles native remains confident that the fight will eventually come together. "I think it will happen if I just keep doing what I'm doing," Benavidez said. "I've proven I'm a big enough name, I'm making my case, and I still have room to grow. That'll make it an even bigger fight." Benavidez is riding high after a dominant performance this past weekend, where he outclassed Cuban contender David Morrell in a thrilling light heavyweight clash. Though he's spent years calling for a fight with Canelo, the 27-year-old is now shifting focus toward becoming the undisputed champion at 175 pounds. With that goal in mind, Benavidez will be keeping a close eye on the upcoming rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, scheduled for February 22nd. Meanwhile, Boxing Scene has reported that 4 major fight dates have been reserved on the Las Vegas Strip: March 22nd, March 29th, April.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect to him, but
May 3rd is a date worth watching for Canelo Álvarez. He has traditionally headlined fights during Cinco de Mayo weekend nearly every year since 2019, excluding 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Notably, 3 of those 5 bouts took place at Las Vegas T-Mobile Arena, making it a familiar stage for the Mexican superstar. That said, nothing is set in stone. With a potential blockbuster matchup against Terence Crawford looming, Álvarez may choose to extend his layoff to ensure he's fully prepared. Still, history suggests otherwise. Canelo rarely takes long breaks between fights. In the meantime, William Skull, the current IBF super middleweight champion, has emerged as the frontrunner for Canelo's next opponent. Talks between Skull's camp and team.
Sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big.
Canelo Álvarez is now 34 years old, and while he shows no signs of slowing down, many believe he may be entering the final phase of his illustrious career. In a recent interview with The Ring magazine, Canelo reflected on when he might consider retirement. "I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting closer to retirement, obviously. But I'm feeling great, I feel better than ever. Maybe at 38. Yeah, I think 38 would be the perfect time to start thinking about that," he shared. Canelo also took a moment to reflect on his journey so far. "I've had difficult fights, and some I didn't need to take at the time. I've taken risks throughout my whole career. I really love the challenges and what I do, and I try to show everyone how good I am." On his versatility as a fighter, Canelo added, "I love moving up and down in weight. I never sit down and look at my record and say, I did this. My trainer always reminds me of what I've accomplished."
You and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it. Sit down. Really.
Canelo Álvarez last stepped into the ring in September 2024, securing a victory over Edgar Berlanga. Now, reports indicate that his long-discussed showdown with Terence Crawford is inching closer to reality in 2025. However, for now, the fight remains in limbo. Both fighters have ongoing commitments, and whether or not the bout happens will hinge on several key factors, including contract negotiations and strategic decisions from both camps. Interestingly, very few fighters have faced both Crawford and Canelo. The only man to do so professionally is Amir Khan, who suffered stoppage defeats to both champions. Khan has already shared his insights on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup could unfold.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford. And it'll be a tall task.
While only a few fighters have faced both Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford in a professional bout, some have sparred with them, including middleweight contender Kieron Davis, who also fought Canelo rival David Benavidez in November 2021. In an interview with Mill City Boxing, Davis shared his thoughts on a potential fantasy matchup between Crawford and Canelo, and he leaned heavily in favor of the Mexican superstar. "Canelo is a big guy. It's going to be a lot for Crawford. He can take a punch, you're not going to hurt Canelo. I don't think Crawford can knock him out with one punch.
A lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on, you know, size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard. I mean.
Davis continued his analysis, stressing just how challenging the fight would be for Crawford. He'd have to land clean shots and target the body, but it's going to be a tall task. Canelo can really fight, he's got moves and traps. Nothing is easy in boxing, and while nothing's impossible, if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Canelo. He went on to acknowledge Crawford's skills, saying, "I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, he's amazing. But Canelo is great. Can Canelo stop him? He's the bigger guy. I think one punch could do it." Even Oscar de la Hoya, despite his rocky history with Canelo.
Terence Crawford says he wants to fight Canelo. He's changed his tune. He said he's willing to move up 3 weight divisions. To me, that's kind of crazy, but that just shows you, like, man, the dog that's in Terence Crawford. If Canelo is victorious...
Oscar de la Hoya made it clear that his perspective remains unbiased, despite his past with Canelo Álvarez. The former world champion shared a bold opinion on how he sees the potential fight playing out. Canelo's size and power give him a clear edge over Crawford. At 154, Crawford didn't really look that dangerous in the ring against a beast, so imagine him facing Canelo, who's even bigger and stronger. It's almost a no contest. De La Hoya also made a sweeping statement about size in boxing, saying, "Come on, when has a smaller good guy ever beaten a bigger good guy? It's never happened in the history of the sport." It's rare. While acknowledging Crawford's technical brilliance and punching power, De La Hoya emphasized that facing a physically dominant Canelo in his natural...
Terence Crawford will beat Canelo anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Because, and this is...
Some boxing experts believe that Terence Crawford has the skills and ring IQ necessary to compete with Canelo Álvarez. However, the size and power disparity between the two could prove to be a decisive factor. Demetrius Andrade, a former super middleweight world champion, recently weighed in on the highly anticipated matchup.
Just too much overall. Like, is that kind of the same thing with the Crawford and Canelo because of the weight classes, the weight between them?
Yeah, I believe so.
I love Crawford. He's a good friend, we reach out to each other. We traveled the world together through the amateur circuit. He saw me beat people up, and I saw him do the same, said Demetrius Andrade in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Andrade, who was once rumored to face Canelo himself, praised Crawford's immense talent but pointed to Canelo's size, strength, and experience at higher weight classes as factors that give the Mexican star a clear advantage. Canelo's a big, bad wolf, and he can go all night. Crawford has the skills, no doubt, but when it comes to dealing with Canelo's shots, his blocking, and his power, it's real. Canelo isn't a robot. He can move, he has agility. It's going...
Crawford, he's a good friend. You know, we reach out to each other. We've been, traveled the world through the amateur program. He see me beat people up. I see him beat people up. He see me get beat up. I got beat up. We both...
Andrade wrapped up his analysis with a realistic but respectful take. "I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo, but I do think he'll give him a good fight, and I'll be there rooting for Canelo all day." Once again, Amir Khan is highlighted as the only fighter to have faced both men professionally. Khan suffered stoppage losses to each and has already shared his thoughts on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo bout could play out.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big. He's a little big for Crawford. It'll be a tall task for...
In addition to Amir Khan, a few fighters have sparred with both Crawford and Canelo. One of them is middleweight contender Kieron Davis, who also fought David Benavidez in November 2021. Speaking with Mill City Boxing, Davis shared his honest assessment of how the fantasy matchup might unfold. "Canelo is a big guy, it's going to be a lot for Crawford. He can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt him easily. I don't think Crawford can knock him out with one punch. Maybe he can cut him or go to the body and bother him."
It'll be a lot you have to... it'll be a lot to get that victory based on, size alone. not that size win fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard.
To land clean shots and go to the body, it's going to be a tall task, said one insider when discussing the potential showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez. Canelo can really fight. He sets traps, moves well, and makes it difficult. It's not easy. Nothing is impossible in boxing, but if I had to bet, I'd put my money on Canelo. I'm not taking anything away from Crawford, he's great. But Canelo's the bigger guy, and I think one punch could end it. The Crawford versus Canelo debate continues to gain momentum. Crawford, the former undisputed welterweight champion, is coming off a unanimous decision victory over Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds, which earned him both the WBA and interim WBO super welterweight titles. As for Canelo Álvarez, this would add yet another massive chapter to his legendary career. The Mexican icon is expected to take a stay-busy fight in May, though his opponent has yet to be confirmed.
And figure out something. He's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He's a smart fighter, and I take everything seriously.
The most likely option for Canelo's next opponent appears to be William Skull, the current IBF super middleweight champion. Skull now holds the very title Álvarez was stripped of last year. For Terence Crawford, a fight with Canelo presents the opportunity to become a 5-division world champion, a historic achievement. However, it remains unclear if Crawford will take a tune-up bout before stepping into the ring with Álvarez. At 37 years old, Crawford isn't known for being especially active, often fighting only once a year. Regardless, the potential showdown is shaping up to be a thrilling, evenly matched contest, a true barn-burner, with numerous factors in play, including the significant size disparity. This bout promises to be one of the most compelling and legacy-defining matchups in recent boxing history. Canelo will not only be defending his titles but also his pride, determined not to be bested by another generational.
You good? Thank you. All right, you gotta give us something on Canelo, bud. Something. September? Done deal? Anything.
Meanwhile, Terence "Bud" Crawford views the potential fight as a life-changing opportunity. A victory would not only make him a 5-weight world champion but also allow him to preserve his undefeated record. This bout could serve as a retirement send-off for Crawford, who is now in the twilight of his career yet remains one of the most dangerous and skilled fighters in the sport. Confident in his ability to break down Álvarez, Crawford told Boxing Scene, "Man, we're going to see come fight time what my advantage is. I'm the type of guy who likes to feel my opponents out and adjust to what they're doing." The historic
Say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Crawford continued, emphasizing his greatest strength, adaptability. "I think that's my greatest attribute, being able to figure out every opponent I've faced so far. I'm looking to do the same." When the Canelo fight happened, Crawford addressed the criticism surrounding his size and his chances at 168 pounds. "People say, you're too small, or you're outmatched, or you don't belong in the ring with guys like that. But that's when great fighters perform at their best. I'm going to feel great at 168 pounds. I'm not worried about the weight, I know my body. I've got a lot to prepare for, but that's part of boxing. It's about meeting milestones." Las Vegas this September.
Everybody to support everybody, not just one fighter supporting one fighter. Yeah, you know what I mean? We all need to support each other. We all need to.
These two blockbuster names, Crawford and Álvarez, have the potential to craft one of modern boxing's most iconic rivalries, thanks to their extraordinary skill sets and impressive lists of accomplishments. Crawford, already a 4-weight world champion, is gearing up to face perhaps the biggest challenge of his career, dethroning the reigning 168-pound champion, Canelo Álvarez. While the fight initially seemed difficult to make, the intervention of Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh helped shift the momentum in a positive direction. Now, according to reports from The Ring magazine, the two superstars have fully agreed to terms and are set to face off in London.
Hello Crawford, who you got if that happens?
I can't go against Crawford. I fuck with Crawford. I like him in the ring, out the ring. I think that he's the best right now. I'm rocking with Crawford.
The highly anticipated showdown between Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford is shaping up to be not just a historic fight but potentially one of the biggest commercial successes in boxing history, possibly even the top-grossing event of 2025. Recent reports have only added to the excitement, The fight is now expected to take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, a move that could break records across the board. The state-of-the-art venue, which opened in 2020, serves as the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, NFL, and is a multi-purpose facility. With a base capacity of 65,000, expandable to 71,500, it offers an unprecedented opportunity for a boxing event of this magnitude. The stadium itself cost an astounding $2 billion to build and is now one of the most iconic sports arenas in the US. If the fight does land here, it would make history, as Crawford vs. Álvarez would be the first boxing event ever held at Allegiant Stadium, a symbolic passing of the torch in modern.
Fred, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything
can also make waves with record-breaking revenue. With Allegiant Stadium's capacity nearing 71,000 spectators, the fight has a legitimate chance at challenging US gate record. The current record was set by Mayweather vs. Pacquiao in 2015, which generated an astounding $72.2 million at the MGM Grand. While that figure remained unmatched for years, Álvarez vs. Crawford could come close, especially depending on ticket pricing and final seating arrangements. There's also a possibility it could challenge the US indoor attendance record of 73,000, which was set during Canelo's bout against Billy Joe Saunders at AT&T Stadium in Texas. All eyes are now on what promises to be a once-in-a-generation spectacle, one with the potential to redefine modern boxing history both inside and outside the ring. For the latest updates, moments, and breaking news from the world of boxing, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. Until next time, peace out, fight fans.